Good morning, America. Good morning, world. Good morning to Canada. Good morning to England. Good afternoon, good evening, anywhere you're at in the world. Germany, big up my dad them over Germany, Big up yourself every time. You see me? Now we're up on a new broadcast in the morning, and it's April 16, 2026. About 10 to 6 now for me. You see me? So I'm going to run through something where I go on in the early morning. You see me? We'll see what we are come with. We'll see what we are come with in the early morning. You see me? Morning, people. Great morning.
Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, canceled her scheduled appearance at a Turning Point USA event with Vice President J.D. Vance, citing security concerns. Now, the event at the University of Georgia went on without her, as Turning Point spokesman Andrew Colvett said Kirk had, quote, received some very serious threats in her direction. Kirk said she wanted to be there, but since the murder of her husband, she takes her security team's recommendations, quote, extremely seriously.
Yes, people, good morning again. Welcome to the Bushmouth Production Channel. Soji as your host. You understand what I say? So, go back to this candy so we know, because this woman get on top of damn nerves. Trust me, this is really nerves breaking. And we're going to build my career off of you, because you build your career off of a woman, the lady will agree for your husband. And you know so much. You know so much. It's a nine now, man. Come on, man. So what we're going to talk about this morning is Candice Owen again. And this is what we want to talk about. Who thinks she's doing too much? It's common sense, as we say. It's common sense. You understand? Who thinks she's doing too much? Come on, Candice. It seems to me like there was more than a friendship you have with Charlie Kirk, because, I mean, you are delusional, bruh. It's crazy. Give up. Nobody's care. Nobody care. You ain't finding no evidence to help no case. There's nobody getting locked up for it. Nobody cares. The guy died, let the guy rest, bruh. Leave his wife alone. Leave his wife, bruh. You know what is a wife? Leave her alone, bruh. Leave her alone. So let's get into it now real quick. Let's see what's going on for me.
Since the murder of her husband, she takes her security team's recommendations, quote, extremely seriously.
The Daily Wire reports that TPUSA was not concerned with the safety of the event itself, but rather the process of traveling to it, alleging some people were trying to track Kirk's arrival and departure. However, right-wing commentator Candace Owens was not buying that explanation. Of course not. She alleged Kirk's absence was instead due to low ticket sales, writing in part on X, people don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth about even the most basic facts. The Secret Service sits above your security team. Were there actually a viable threat, the vice president would not have continued the event.
There was also a viral moment from Vance's appearance where he was discussing the war in Iran. The VP acknowledged that the current policy in the Middle East is unpopular, especially with young voters, but said that's no reason to become disengaged with the administration or the Republican Party.
I'm not saying you have to agree with me on every issue. What I'm saying is don't get disengaged because you disagree with the administration on one topic. Get more involved. Make your voice heard even more. That's how we ultimately take the country back.
She has every right to be very sensitive to security concerns. There could absolutely be a situation where, for whatever reason, it's not safe enough for her to show up. In fact, that her security team takes that decision out of her hands, and the vice president's in a different situation. That could be the case. So, of course, Candace is
Being Candace.
Candace being Candace. Look, I will say Turning Point is going through some, Candace is successfully making the organization very toxic, and there's a lot of infighting right now that I guess Charlie Kirk was very successful at wrangling.
Are the ticket sales low, though? Is that like based in fact?
What I was told was that this event was not as well attended as they wanted it to be. I don't know what that means. It could mean
sounds like it
bad
means
right
low
now. I mean, it could
sales.
mean young conservatives are unhappy with the administration. I mean, JD Vance is acknowledging that, right? Young conservatives have a very different view of foreign policy than older conservatives right now. And that is coming across at events like this. As long as the conversation, making the conversation about foreign policy is bad for the right. I don't know how else to say it. The right is united when we're talking about things like fighting wokeness and DEI.
Listen to me. Candace Owen, Alex Jones, and the rest of the elite right, they don't speak for MAGA. This is why I came out today and telling you, I mean, every day I'm going to start coming out now. Candace Owen doesn't speak for MAGA. You understand? We understand the foreign policy, what we should do. Drop Israel. I mean, everybody understand. Everybody understand. They're just running with a point that the Democrat will do the same thing. Come on. These people crazy. The Democrat would do the same thing. We'll have Israel. Israel is our allies. But they choose to tell you that because of Israel, they pick another side. Or which side they pick? The eviler side. Got to be. You understand me? So it's crazy for real. And then she's on this lady. I mean, this is not even what I really bring the topic here to talk about. For real. I want to go down more in depth where she really telling you that Erica Kirk didn't come to the Turning Point event because it was low coming out and all that. Erica Kirk said her thing, she was threatened because of Candace Owens going off on the internet about her life and all this. Man, it's annoying now for real. Just check her out. She built her own fortunes off this lady, bruh. Come on, man. What is in it for you? What is in it for you? I'm gonna check a couple of her clips. Because really and truly, this is what is in it for you. This is disgraceful now, man. Accuse Erica Kirk. This is so disgraceful now. I'm going to this. I'm going to premium see what's going on this for you. So disgraceful now.
Supposed to be me as.
This is so disgraceful.
So by now you guys have all heard that Erica Kirk bowed out of a Georgia event that she was slated to appear at last night for Turning Point USA with the vice president. And the reason she bowed out was due to credible threats on her life. Both the vice president and Andrew Colvett, who came in her stead, confirmed this. They both talked about the fact, and I think that it's absolutely valid, that Erica has to do what is best for her and for her children. And also, her children are now one parent away from being orphans. I think that's absolutely a reasonable thing to say and a more than reasonable consideration. But of course, Candace Owens wasted no time last night mocking Erica, obsessively tweeting about this, and baselessly claiming that Erica pulled out at the last minute due to low ticket sales. And then this is
what we're talking about. What can you do? Have a spine. You have kids. You have a husband. First of all, you gotta like white men. You're so in love with Charlie Kirk that you be on this man from he die you on this man. And your husband is a white man. Wonder if you and Charlie Kirk is more than just friend. You know more than his wife. That is what you want to convince the world, that you know more than his wife. He trusts you more than his wife. This is crazy. Man, this is crazy. Know your place, man. You got to know your place. This is a 9. You only have Democrat people on your side out cheering for you. Oh, go girl, and you greedy because of the money. This is annoying, bro. Stop now, man. Stop. Pick some other topic, man. Pick some UFO topic. Pick some love America topic. It seems like you, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, even, man, y'all hate America so bad, bro. It's crazy to see. It's crazy. It's real crazy to see.
Her on her show, doubling down and mocking Erica again today. Watch her face while Andrew is speaking
now. So I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk. That's right. Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that. Some of the people that have made, part-time jobs out of attacking Erica, and this is the net result.
Look at this evil woman face. Look at her.
Is the implication here that it's our fault? Is it my fault? Why do I feel like they're talking?
What you mean, bitch? How you would like somebody to be on your kids? How your husband would dead and somebody be talking about your husband every fucking day and making millions? Bitch, get the fuck up. Bitch, I don't even want to see you, man. This is annoying, man. This ain't annoying, bitch. Bitch, this ain't annoying. Every day you talk about the damn woman husband, like, what are you? What was you? What? This is more crazy. Look at your little squingy face. Look how evil are you. Man, I used to look at you like somebody. You're nobody. Your soul is empty. You got an empty soul. And then you talk about Christianity. You judge people. Yeah, you don't even go there. You're judging people. You, Tucker Carlson, and all these people play these fake. What are you doing this for? What is it in for you? What is in it for you? When the stone come rumbling down, hope you could take it, bro. Because you're having fun bringing down somebody. You laugh at it. How can you get joke right there? You laugh at it. Skin your teeth.
Talking about me. Is that weird? She's not here. And
I can't even.
Come on, Veep. Come on. Explain to everybody how it's actually Candace Owens' fault because she's being attacked, more broadly speaking. What do I have to do with her going to an event?
So right off the bat, a few things. Number one, this actually was not a ticketed event. I think you had to pre-register before going, but you did not have to buy tickets. And there's a creator that I just started following called That Opinionated Girl. I like her a lot. She seems to have a lot of reasonable, rational takes. She was actually there, and I thought she made a great point of what other organization do you know of is giving young people access to the vice president for free? Yeah, that is pretty incredible. That just is a testament to the work that TPUSA is doing and the work that Erica is continuing on.
Candice is so bitter. She's so bitter. I wonder what she and Turning Point. What the hell Turning Point did to you? Man, nothing worked for you. You try to bring down the whole organization, nothing worked for you. The only thing you do is get some clicks and some money in your pocket. And you don't have the moral courtesy to leave the man's wife alone. The moral courtesy, even though you're a Christian. I guarantee you don't have a man in your house. And money you have in your house is a Democrat. You would have told her to leave it alone. Respect that shit, man. What I say, nah, I ain't gonna respect it. I ain't gonna leave it alone because this is putting money in my pocket, man. This crazy. This not right, though. It's not right. And then coming out talking this bullshit about what you want. You want to raise the man kids? You want to raise his children? Oh, Candice want to raise Charlie Kirk children. Candice want to be the mother of Charlie Kirk children. Candice Owen want to be the mother of Charlie Kirk children. Oh, Candice Owen and Charlie Kirk was in something else. Wasn't just friends. Candice Owen and Charlie Kirk seems a little bit more than friends. I mean, it seems so.
For her husband, Charlie, her late husband, Charlie. Second of all, Candace Owens, of all people, does not have a leg to stand on to mock another woman for talking about credible threats against her life. Candace Owens in December claimed that the French government had put out a hit on her life. And then she proceeded to go to Dollywood, apparently, and then definitely did go to Tucker Carlson's Christmas party. So she claims that one of the most powerful foreign governments in the world has put out a hit on her life, and then she goes to a Christmas party. So I don't think that she has a leg to stand on. When Candace Owens was asked why she did not go to Charlie's memorial, one of the reasons that she gave was that the security was not tight enough for the threats that she was getting. Well, if you didn't recall, the vice president and the sitting president were at Charlie's memorial. So the security wasn't tight enough. And yet, funnily enough, Candace sycophants have the nerve to mock Erica, saying, well, why couldn't she go last night? The vice president was there. How is it that security is not tight enough if the vice president wasn't there? Well, number one, you don't hold Candace to that same standard.
Candice, I used to be a fool to your information. You're nothing but a fool on a platform spilling shit. Believe me. And if anybody listen to you, you tie yourself up. Number of times come out and say, I didn't say this and I didn't say that. And then you say, oh, I'm sorry about saying this and it must be my fault and I didn't get the information correctly. Nothing is proven on your point. You're talking about this about 7 months now and there's nothing. You're carrying us down a conspiracy. You let conspiracy theory look like a lie. I swear. You let conspiracy theory look animation. That's how you let conspiracy theory look. This is not conspiracy theory. This is injustice. This is inhuman. Come on, man. Leave the lady alone. You have a children, you have a husband. Leave the lady alone. I can remember you're going so hard for Charlie Kirk, you didn't even show up at his funeral. The same security problem you got, the same type of security problem you got at the time, the same type of security problem you got. Didn't know when you didn't show up at the Charlie Kirk funeral, you said, France have elite team how to get you. You talk that bullshit on your podcast. And I mean, millions of people believe you because they get a whole lot of views and people was like, oh my God, she's digging into a rat hole. I mean, we want her to be safe. And man, I start believing you're talking some bullshit. You the most. Man, you believe one time I have it like you could run for president and won? Yeah. Yes, I really like. Yeah, I think Candace Owens is the only female could really run for president and won. Nah, I don't think you could do that no more. You, Tucker, none of you could do that no more. None of you. I guarantee you, none of you can. One time, you have the aspiration for everybody to be voting for you. Believe me, the only person that didn't like you is probably a couple of the black celebrities. But people out here like respect you, like, yeah, she have some valid points. Everybody just see that you use the money. You talk it that when your mouth open is just to grab money and come in money, grab this money. You got no morals, you got no inhuman about you, got nothing about you. Trust me, it hurt, man. It hurt. And I'm just a normal driver. I wish I could have your spot getting millions and all that. I'm just a normal truck driver, just a normal truck driver, just one normal truck driver listening to your program sometimes and it's annoying me. It's too much. And I guarantee you got people like me listening to this and probably don't even like, it's crazy. Come on.
Second of all, Mary Margaret Olahan posted this tweet. I think she's a reporter for the Daily Wire, if I'm not mistaken. And she clarified that the threats were actually surrounding Erica's travel and not necessarily around the events. And I, again, think that's more than reasonable. I mean, we've got people charting her flights and where she takes off from. And, Egyptian planes are following her around and murdering Charlie Kirk. So, yeah, we already know for sure that people are tracking her every movement and her flight. And while she's en route, that has nothing to do with the Secret Service. She's not using the vice president's Secret Service to end from the event. And also, frankly, no disrespect to the Secret Service, but Butler did happen. So I don't know really anymore that the Secret Service is really the pinnacle of security. And again, it pains me to say that, and I don't mean any disrespect, but all it takes is one. All it takes is one person with a weapon getting through security, one unmanned roof. That's all it takes is one. So not only do you have to consider the event itself, but you also have to consider getting to the event, getting from the event. I also brought up the point last night that sure, the event itself might be highly secure, especially because the vice president is there and because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. But you also don't know what kind of mental and emotional and spiritual toll this has taken on Erica, especially if there are credible threats against her life, which I absolutely think that there are. Of course there are. Why wouldn't there be? For Candace Owens, again, of all people to mock that, Candace has been accusing this woman for, in my view, 7 months, implicitly suggesting that she's been guilty, but certainly for 4 months and counting, accusing her of orchestrating a multinational conspiracy to murder her own husband. So why on earth would there not be threats against her life? You're telling me that nobody out there has been radicalized by Candace Owens? Nobody out there thinks that they can take justice and vengeance into their own hands? You're really telling me that after you've spent 4 months, in my view, again, 7 months, telling people that she had a hand in murdering her husband? And then you have the nerve to mock the idea that there would be threats against her life? The next thing I'll say is a lot of the people were accusing her of well, we talked about the quote unquote low ticket sales. Of course, this was not a ticketed event. But what I looked up online is that the venue has a capacity for 8,500. Okay. And according to that opinionated girl who was, again, there, she said that a lot of the venue was blocked off. So it's not like TPUSA could have filled all 8,500 seats if they had wanted to. The venue, a large portion of the venue was blocked off. And she said that she knew people who couldn't get into the event because they had already filled up their registration. So TPUSA was not trying to fill up more seats, was not trying to fill up all 8,500 seats. And if you think about it, we know that Charlie's last day, he was speaking to a crowd of about 3,000 people. Even a crowd of 3,000 people is going to be dwarfed in an arena that can seat 8,500 people. So it's not really fair to look at videos and footage online and see a lot of empty space in an 8,500 capacity arena and then mock TPUSA for it. Now, do I think that Candace, if not for Candace, there might have been more people there last night? Possibly. Not if it's true that some people couldn't get in because they were at capacity, what was capacity for them. But yeah, that's absolutely believable that Candace has had an impact on Turning Point's reputation. She has previously mocked the fact that, according to her, Erica has had to pull out of certain speaking engagements because of blowback.
I have it on very good authority that they have had to cancel events that Erica was intended to speak at because there has been a backlash. There's been a backlash, and there should be a backlash when you are not being told the truth and you are being lied to, and the lies seem to be pathological. Small lies, big lies.
Shut up, bitch. Shut up, man. You make your money tearing down others. This is a nine, though. But you got fanned for it. This is what you make your money off. You're dumb as a motherfucker. Your money have no soul. You have no soul. Look in the camera in, this is black lies. And you, this is crazy. This is crazy. Leave the guy, let the guy rest, bro. That's his wife. Don't matter what type of wife she be, she's his wife. You know what the fuck being a wife is? He? Come on, man. This is crazy. I'm really annoyed, bro. But I'll take up my annoying talking on this web, though. honestly, because I love you for real. It's just I hate your ways. I used to be one of your biggest fan. Trust me. From your young coming up from the Kanye West to White Life Matters, I was like, okay, this is not a easy to being at the Daily Wire, tweeting Crisis King. I was like, oh, she's great. She I love her. Starting your podcast and all that. I was here listening to you and all that. I was enthusiastic to find out about Charlie Kirk killing too. I was one of them until I like, wow, come on, this is getting too much for real. I mean, let the dead rest. Unless he's faking his death. But you come out with nothing. The same guy is still charged with the crime. There's nothing different. All these guys, special forces and all these guys you talk about still have a job. None of them is locked up. They leave the fucking story alone. Leave it alone. Damn, bitch. Come on, man. Come on, man. And don't come for me, because, I mean, it's what here. I'm just talking my opinion. You understand me? I'm broke as a mother hell. I'm just a truck driver, as you said. The only thing I could give you is my truck. Trust me. It's just free speech and how I am thinking. It's crazy, though. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Because this is you. And this is not a clone of you. This is you I'm looking at and reviewing the things that you are saying. And I guarantee you have people that felt like this is too much for real. This is too much. See, your job is to bring down the turning point, USA, because your friend is dead. Your friend died. That you didn't come to his funeral. He fired you before he died. They know you and him wasn't talking before he died. Man, there's so much evidence of so much. Why you choose this way to go down? Why? Because it making millions. The world wanted it. The world wanted to see it. After the France Macron story, yeah, you got to come with a different story. Now you don't got nothing to come with. Nothing you don't got. More than, oh, Donald Trump is evil and he's the anti-Trump, the mean that he gave the 25th Amendment. Bruh, listen, me Candice. We'll stick with Mr. Trump more than the Democrats. Trust me, he's not the perfect person. We can't choose our parents, but we choose Mr. Trump to be our president. Why? Because he's more or less the evil. He's more or less the evil. He's trying to clean up a whole evil camp that it sounds like you, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, and Megyn Kelly know a part of. Congratulations.
You should not welcome that. And you, least of all, should welcome this emotional manipulation that comes with, well, you kind of have to accept the lies that you're being told because her husband was Charlie.
Which, by the way, I'm not a legal expert, but to me, that seems like evidence for a defamation case right there. Yes, this woman is lying about me online and affecting my business, affecting my bottom line. So I hope Erica's paying attention to that, but what the hell do I know? So yeah, these people are trying to damage Turning Point USA. And I absolutely think that it's plausible and reasonable to believe that they have. What I think is crazy is to fool yourself into believing that that's what Charlie Kirk would have wanted. No, that's what the radical left wants. You know, the people who celebrated when he was shot. That's what they want. And you seem to be working for them. The next thing I saw online, this was on a Candace post on YouTube, but it was really everywhere across the board on all of her accounts and people like her. They were accusing Erica of staying home because she was afraid of answering questions. You guys, can we just think of things through logically instead of saying the first thought that comes into our minds, as long as it's anti-Erica? If Erica were so cowardly and afraid of answering questions, why on earth would she even sign herself up for this event in the first place? Why would she go through the whole rigmarole of promoting this event and saying she was going to be there? Why would she do any open mic event? And we know that she's done open mic events in the past 7 months. And this has been this bullying and harassment campaign against her has been going on for the past 7 months, certainly the past 4 months. And she's done open mic events the past 4 months. She's not stupid. She knows that there are people who have issues with her, and yet she still has the courage to go out and do open mic events. So why are you telling me that all of a sudden now she's afraid of questions? And why would she, again, even open this can of worms to say, yeah, I'm going to be there, only to bow out at the seeming last minute? What would be the purpose of that? She's the CEO. She doesn't have to do these events at all. If she's truly so afraid of questions and facing the public, why wouldn't she just get Andrew to do all of her events? But instead, Erica takes her time to do certain of these events, and she will gladly get on the mic and answer questions. It's just absurd. And as far as, again, her bowing out because of low ticket sales, even though there weren't actually ticket sales, that doesn't make sense to me because, first of all, you know about how many people are registered well before the day of the event. You know the day before the event, 2 days before the event, you know the morning of the event. So why would it be?
Candice Owen is on a platform of bringing down the MAGA party. Candice Owen, you wasn't a part of building the MAGA party, the MAGA movement. You wasn't. Honestly to God, you wasn't. I don't know where you get this from, like you have influences in the MAGA party. You don't. Charlie Kirk is responsible for the MAGA party. I mean, he was aligned to Charlie Kirk because he was a smart guy. I mean, you say you got difference with him and he got difference. I mean, I doubt you could debate Charlie Kirk because that he's a smart, very smart guy. Doubt. Guarantee probably tie you up in some debate. You understand me? So, I mean, it's crazy what you're doing. Stop. We're begging you to stop, man. Stop. This is crazy. Don't who you hate like this to be bringing down the whole, oh, you're going to bring down Charlie. This is what you're rewarding Charlie Kirk. Oh, I'm going to bring down the MAGA party because they're responsible for you. This is what you're saying, that they're responsible for you. I'm going to bring down your wife because they're responsible for you. I'm going to bring down the whole everybody and stay in my basement because they're responsible. Why? Why? I think Erica Kirk need to do a DNA on your kids. It's more than that. Probably Erica Kirk need to do a DNA on your kids, bruh. Probably. Yep. I think so. I think we should all do a DNA on your children. See what's up. Got to be related to Charlie Kirk. Something in the pot for you.
Sort of a last minute change. Because as Candace Owens pointed out on her show today, there were TPUSA staff promoting that Erica was going to be at the event like an hour before the event was slated to start. So clearly this was a last minute change up. If you're telling me that it's about, oh, she was worried about how small the crowd allegedly was, then why would she wait till the last minute? That doesn't make sense. But an emergency situation with security, feeling unsafe with security, feeling threatened that people were trying to dox her travel plans, all that makes more sense to me. That seems like, oh yeah, that could be a last minute thing where, okay, this is not right for me right now. Also, with the vice president showing up, that tells me again that it's not about low ticket sales. It's not about low pre-registration, because I think at that point, the vice president, his time is more precious than Erica Kirk's. No offense to her. His time is more precious than pretty much anyone's except for the president himself. So I think at that point, the vice president would also bow out, especially if Erica had bowed out. If it were truly about, we don't have enough people there and I'm too good to speak to a crowd this size, I think the vice president would also politely bow out, and maybe we'd get a line about security or the venue or something like that. I don't see the vice president, whose time is more precious, truly going through with an event where there was concern about, we don't like how not full the stadium is. I mean, truly, I just think his team would have been like, Mr. Vice President, there are better uses for your time. The next thing that I want to point out is one of Candace's tweets to Erica. She quote tweeted her here. I wish that I had the audacity of Candace Owens. She is absolutely one of the most entitled people that I have ever heard from. The way that she acts like Erica owes her something when Erica has already sat with her for nearly 5 hours. Erica flew to Candace and sat with her for 5 hours. And the way that she acts like Erica owes her more is crazy. Erica didn't even owe Candace that. Erica owes Candace absolutely nothing. She doesn't owe her an alibi. She doesn't owe her anything.
Nothing.
And this is, of course, Candace, again, badgering Erica to give the footage of Charlie in Aspen a month or so before he died, saying that he would want Erica to succeed him. So far, we've only heard the audio from that. We haven't seen the footage. I made a longer video on that this past weekend. You can check that out if you want to. I broke down all of the illogical things Candace was saying around that. But let me tell you why this video doesn't matter for Candace and her fans. They pretend like it matters, but it doesn't matter. It wouldn't change anything. And here's 2 reasons why. Number 1, there is no one at TPUSA that they would be satisfied with running TPUSA. They have trashed everyone in the upper echelon of TPUSA. So it's not as if they're, saying, hey, we don't think Erica was the best choice. Why didn't you choose these other people who worked alongside Charlie at TPUSA? No. They're not saying that. They're just complaining for the sake of complaining. They want TPUSA burned to the ground. They want Candace Owens running TPUSA, or they want the whole damn thing destroyed. Now, obviously, it's not up to them who runs the thing, but I'm pointing out to you that they're just complaining for the sake of complaining. They're not even trying to offer solutions. They hate everyone there. They hate everything about it. And if the queen bee, Candace Owens, isn't running it, they don't want it to survive. So that's number 1. Number 2, we know for a fact, there's no doubt about it, okay? You don't need evidence or anything like that. You know for a fact that Charlie chose Erica to be his wife, to be his flesh, to bear his children, to be the mother of his children. He took a vow before God and before all of their loved ones with Erica Kirk. And yet that doesn't matter to these people. That doesn't buy Erica an ounce of respect or graciousness or anything at all. And a wife is a higher title than CEO. So if you're telling me that the title of wife, of mother of your children, doesn't buy Erica any respect at all, then knowing for sure that Charlie wanted her to be the CEO if anything happened to him ain't going to buy her any respect. Because again, wife over CEO. So seeing this video would change absolutely nothing for these people. They either say that it's AI or something like that. It wouldn't change anything. This would not stop if they saw the video. And then I wanted to point out to you Carrie Prejean Bowler's response. Carrie is one of Candace's biggest sycophants. She's also a recent Catholic convert. Apparently, she is a former beauty queen who lost her title because of a sex tape scandal. Don't quote me on that because I don't actually obsessively look into these people's lives. I just see what they post on the internet, and this is pretty awful. Now, apparently, she subsequently deleted this. I don't know. But Carrie is supposed to be Erica's sister in Christ. Candace is supposed to be Erica's sister in Christ. But this is how these women who are recent Catholic converts act. And it just shows you how petty she is, how petty they all are. Taking issue with Erica saying, because of what my family has been through, as opposed to saying, after watching my husband be assassinated in front of the whole world, what's the difference? And truthfully, if we're going to nitpick about things and be petty, Erica's is actually more accurate because unfortunately at this point, Erica hasn't only been through watching her husband be assassinated in front of the whole world. She has now been put through a 7-month-long and counting bullying and harassment campaign. And that is because of people like Candace and Carrie. So yeah, it's actually accurate to say because of what my family's been through, because it's not just watching Charlie die at this point. You guys have put her through a whole hell of a lot more. And the last and final thing that I just want to point out is, I thought we were all clutching our pearls at the idea that Erica doesn't spend enough time with her children and that she just abandoned her children for TPUSA. But now we're upset that Erica was home with her children last night, prioritizing what was best for her and her family. So again, you guys, there's nothing that Erica could say or do that would be right in these people's minds. They want you to believe that it's about Erica behaving badly, that it's about her lying, that it's about her being so weird.
I mean, we get the point. It was a joke. I mean, her husband died. I mean, she came out, she moaned a little different. That's all. But nobody have the right to push this lady to the max or push this lady to the level that you are doing. Candice, when you are crazy, you are very much crazy for real. You are very much crazy. And this is crazy. You understand me? You are crazy, bruh. For real, for real. Let's get on this other one right now. Yeah, look upon her. Look upon her still, listen. Let's check out this other one right now, okay? And this lady crazy.
Okay, this situation is not just getting complicated, it's getting very scary because one person says she received death threats. The other person questions whether the person received the death threats. And now we are getting confirmation that these threats happened, if we are to believe the Vice President of the United States. So why was this a public call out in the first instance? Let's break it down because the timeline is very...
Candice, please stop these things, man. Stop. Stop it, man. This is crazy. Your husband can't tell you to stop this bullshit. Stop it, man. Stop, man. This don't look good to the world. And you really come out and mocking this shit. Stop, man. Stop, bruh. Stop. This don't look good, bruh. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Interesting. So Erica Kirk was scheduled to appear at a Turning Point USA event with DJ Vance. And then she canceled. Come to find out that the reason she canceled is because she's been receiving death threats. On its own, this is very, very serious. I don't wish it upon anyone and don't believe anybody should be dealing with this kind of thing. However, as soon as Erica Kirk came out and said this happened to her, Candace Owens immediately responded. And instead of Candace acknowledging what has happened to Erica, she questioned it. Now, this is where the tone completely changes because the Vice President of the United States eventually said that yes, Erica Kirk did receive death threats. I want us to have a look at the video. I want us to react to the video and then I will come back with the rest of my commentary. So let's have a look and listen.
So for those of you wondering why I don't have really flowing long blonde hair right now, so I'm going to address it right at the front. Mr. Vice President, I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erica Kirk. That's right. Because unfortunately, she has received some very serious threats in her direction, which is terrible. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. But it underscores a larger point that she has received a lot of attacks from surprising places, perhaps. Tell us what you think about that. Some of the people that have made part-time jobs out of attacking Erica, and this is the net result. Sure.
All you have to do is just say Candace Owens. You don't have to say some of the people that have attacked her because we know that Candace Owens is the person who's attacked Erica Kirk.
Well, first of all, I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, as you know, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come. Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in. And let's go and make this an amazing event with the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, Georgia. So absolutely, we're going to do this thing. But look, I mean, in so many ways, when did Charlie die? It was mid-September, I believe.
September 10th.
And in the past, that's right, it was the day right before September 11th. And in so many ways, the past 6 or so months have been two separate living hells for Erica. And the first is, of course...
I agree, because a lot of people have made it a full-time job to accuse this woman of everything. Candace has been investigating this case for a long time. What is the result? What has she uncovered? You haven't uncovered anything. However, you have succeeded in turning a lot of people against Erica Kirk. Now, I keep saying I like Candace, But me liking someone does not mean that if the person is behaving badly, I'm not going to call the person out. That's not how I roll. If you're my friend, I'm the kind of friend that will tell you if you're doing something wrong. And I don't know what it is about Erica that rubs Candace the wrong way, because anytime something is happening to her, it's almost like she rubs her hand in glee, happy that this lady is struggling. And I don't get it.
That she lost her husband, she lost the father of her children. And I'll never forget this because I mean, frankly, I think a lot about it because my wife is now pregnant with our fourth baby.
Wow.
Is when we went and picked up, thank you. But when we went and picked up Charlie's body in Utah, and of course you were there with us, and I met Erica and I met the family. I mean, I met Charlie's his parents and his little sister. And I just think about that moment and where she was so broken. Mm-hmm. And any of you know who anybody who's grieved before is you kind of go from just crestfallen and sad, and then you want to remember the person that you just lost. And there's just this constant flood of emotions, right? At one moment,
JD, you're making too much excuses. Not that you have to, but all I have to say is when it comes to grief, you can't tell a person how to grieve. People grieve differently. There are people who like to show strength when they're outside, and indoors, they break down, they cry. Meanwhile, there are people who death does not affect them like that. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. It means that they're not able to process it accordingly. So everyone is different. And there are people that will cry and cry and cry for days on end. So you cannot take how you will grieve for someone and measure how the next person is going to do it. Just my take.
You're laughing about something they said 2 years ago, and another moment you're sobbing because they're not there anymore. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that moment a lot because Erica told me, and that was the first time she'd ever, told me this. And I guess I thought about it a lot in the context of our own, my wife's pregnancy. Mm-hmm. She said, I really wish that we had more babies together. Oh. And that kind of hit me like,
wow, that is deep. That is very deep. I have no doubt that Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk were soulmates. I'm a married person. I've watched lots of videos just to see their body language. And he adored her, and so did she, from the videos that I've seen. So saying that probably means that she doesn't see herself having kids with someone else. Well, Erica is young. And I always say to people, if anything happens to someone that you're married to, if something happens to your partner, if you're the kind of person that doesn't like to be alone, follow your heart because life is short. Someone like me, heaven forbid, that will be the end. I will never get married. But there are some people that immediately after 2 years, they will. Not because they're happy that the person passed away, but because they don't like to be alone. So I say all of this to say, Erica probably said she wishes she had more kids with Charlie because she doesn't see herself having kids with other people. But again, like I said, Erica, you are still a young lady, so don't say that.
It's just it. He's gone. That was sort of one of the moments where I realized Charlie's not coming back here. And you have this mom who's really sad about the fact that her two little kids may never have memories. I mean, you think about like as a father, I know most of you out there are too young to have kids, but one of the things that you think about as a father is, I want my kids to remember this moment, right? I want my 6-year-old to remember when I took him to the zoo, or my 6-year-old son was just baptized on Easter Sunday, and I wanted to remember that moment with me. And thank you. But so Erica's struggling with this, and of course that's terrible, unspeakable. Most of us could not even put ourselves in her shoes, while at the same time, she's trying to make sure that Charlie's legacy doesn't die. And in that context, everybody is attacking her over everything, and they're lying about her. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the most disgraceful things that I've ever seen in public life.
I agree. I completely agree. The way people have treated Erica Kirk is really bad. That woman has lost her husband, not even 7 months. I believe it's 7 months this month. And there's been all kinds of conspiracies about her husband. She hasn't had time to grieve because all of the internet sleuths are accusing her of every single thing possible. Now, I want us to have a look at this video showing or exposing Erica for being a liar, because Candace came out to say that Erica Kirk is lying, and the reason why she did not attend the Turning Point USA event was because of low ticket sale. She was delighted in Erica's downfall. It was almost as if she was getting some kind of sick pleasure tormenting this lady. Candace is going overboard. Now, I want us to have a look at what Candace said.
Candace Owens is calling out Erica Kirk, claiming that she's lying about the actual reason why she didn't attend the Turning Point USA event tonight in Georgia. She says, "I was so looking forward to tonight's event at the University of Georgia with our vice president, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously." So she's claiming there was a security threat, and that's the reason why she skipped this event. But Candace Owens said in response, "Stop, this is exhausting. You pulled out because of bad ticket sales." For the same reason TP Faith had to reschedule the Pastor Summit and various other events quietly, people don't believe you and don't line up for you because you struggle to tell the truth about even the most basic facts. Then down here, she says the Secret Service sits above your security team. Were there actually a viable threat, the vice president would obviously not have continued the event, which is true. And the ticket sales were absolutely pathetic. Just take a look at how empty the arena was.
It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues today, frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying original principles.
I think it's pretty obvious there was no actual security threat because JD Vance still attended the event. But this crowd size reflects the decay in the MAGA movement. Trump has clearly not put America first, and neither have any of his allies. Instead, they've put Israel and big money above everything else.
So there you have it. You just heard him explain it. So the thing I don't understand is DJ Vance is a different person. Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk are different people. You can't tell me that with the level of vitriol that Candace has put out there against this woman, that there are not people there who want to see Erica get hurt. Listen, her husband was just assassinated a few months ago. If this lady is saying that she received death threats, I believe her. I honestly believe her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Erica Kirk is perfect. Some of her reactions have not exactly been the kind of reaction that I would expect from someone who just lost their husband. However, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge how someone is grieving for their man? On the other hand, I personally think that Candace reacted too quickly. And I feel that she doubted something that the public should have taken seriously. And this is why I feel that Candace reacted too quickly. And this is why I will always give her the side eye, because there are things that you can question. There are things that people can't prove. And death threats are not one of them, and are not things that should be taken lightly, especially when your husband only got assassinated a few weeks ago. So when you question something like this, it hits differently. Now, to be fair, I don't know what's happening between these two. I have no dog in this fight. I've said it many times, I like both of them. However, when a serious threat like this is made and then someone questions it, if it's confirmed later down the line, it will make the initial reaction look premature. So I'm curious, do you think Candace was being insensitive when she made that comment? Do you think her going after Erica like this is a good thing? Or do you think that it's time for her to rein it in and pack it up? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I'll see you in another video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, my people.
Donald Trump has threatened to rip.
Yes, my people. You see me? As we go through the day, you see me? That was about Candace Owens. Just I do a review on what she really stand for. And you understand me? Whenever really in that still, trust me, because the Candace really I do right now, it don't even call for. A grieving widow lose her husband, and this is how you want to go at her, and you say you and her husband was even friend. You understand me? It's crazy. You see me? It's crazy, really crazy. And I just want you to stop for real. After I don't have to graduate from an elite university, it's just common sense. If you are a friend of Charlie Kirk, leave it right there. Let it stop. Leave his widow alone. Leave his children alone. Just stop. Because you're making money off his. This is what drives you to do this. Have some moral, man. Have some respect. Understand me? So channel, remember to like and subscribe, please. You see me? Like, subscribe. We could discuss the conversation in the comment section. The comment section open. You see, some could go past some lefties losing it with Rita Pune.
Climate hysteria is so 2020, but no one has told this overgrown Greta Thunberg. This is Wisconsin's Democrat Secretary of State, Sarah Godlinski.
Republicans say we don't have climate change, but this is golf ball size hail in my front yard. This is not normal, and we can't keep ignoring our environment.
Yes, hail is a sure sign of catastrophic global warming. Well done, Sarah. Now let's go to the OG. Here is the real Greta Thunberg, who seems rather proud of herself. She's achieved the label of the second most dangerous anti-Semite in the world. Aim higher, love. Go for gold.
Apparently, recently, the Israeli government released a report where they identify me as the second most dangerous anti-Semite in the world. And the reason is for me using terms such as genocide, siege, and mass starvation to talk about the situation in Gaza. Anyway, the genocide continues.
Oh, maybe you'll win next year. Now to the woman who fled America to get away from Donald Trump, only to talk about the president 24/7. Here, Rosie O'Donnell talks about her support for Democrat deviant Eric Swalwell, who has just quit Congress and his campaign to be governor of California after serious allegations were leveled against him by multiple women. I wonder, does Rosie O'Donnell know him?
I know that guy. In the what kind of way? Like spoke to him on the phone a couple times, donated money to him, I believe. Talked about him in some public appearances years ago about how I believed in him and his cute little family and 2 kids and standing up to all those people when he, berates them for their moralist behavior.
Rosie went on to say Swalwell broke her heart with his moralless behaviour, but then listen to this absolutely crazy misandrist nonsense she spews, essentially absolving Swalwell of all responsibility.
The conclusion I've come to, men suck. Men suck. The way that they are physiologically, they can't sort of control their sexual urges. This is what I find.
All men suck, Rosie? Really? All men can't control their sexual urges? Seek help and fast, please. Now, this next dude definitely does suck. He's unfunny, miserable, and like Rosie O'Donnell, afflicted with the most virulent form of Trump derangement syndrome.
Can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and make Donald Trump the new Ayatollah. We let him go run Iran, and then we lock him out when he tries to come back.
All them people, yeah. These are the type of people we need to change the country. These people are millionaires, you know? And these people is on television telling you their country is run under fascist and dictator. And they ain't losing nothing. They don't lose no rights. They ain't lose a cent. These people, look at these people. They're living better. His suit could pay my mortgage. His suit could pay my mortgage. Trust me. And this is the guy be on television talking bullshit to what? To the elites, right? Hollywood elites that love him, that donates to him. I guarantee you. This is what America is up to now. People that get millions in America that don't even like America. Trust me, it's crazy. Let's get into it.
Think about it. I, for one, cannot think of a better way for Trump to deliver on his promise to make Iran a living hell than to become their leader.
Can you believe that guy is earning millions of dollars to deliver that?
Same thing I just
ABC
said.
must hate their audience and must also hate their shareholders. Let's stay with the ABC's disdain for their audience and have a look at The View. Here is Joy Behar claiming that if Jesus proclaimed himself as the Messiah, well, that makes him a narcissist. Get ready to lose brain cells, lots of them.
Jesus himself did not run around saying, I'm the Messiah, I'm the Messiah.
Jesus kind of did say he was
You're
the
supposed to have a little bit of...
That's exactly what Jesus said. I am the Messiah.
You know what? is it not?
It's been
Jesus
a
was
minute
more
since I
powerful
heard
than
things.
The Pope's he's got God's eyes.
She just said I knew.
This is how far the world can go. With a bunch of ladies, 5 ladies just sitting around a table and just doing the most. Nobody with a valid point. It's crazy. This is called common sense. Common sense. Listen these. Ladies, these people need to get off here, bro. This country not going to be better if these people aren't here. Just listen the common sense in these type of things.
Jesus. Jesus was not narcissistic like this guy.
And but when you are the Messiah, it's not narcissism to say it.
Yes, it is.
When you are the Messiah.
And good news, Don Lemon is doubling down on his claim that he can be president. Please run, Don, please.
Yes, why not? Why not?
Why not?
Look, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but why not? My parents taught me growing up that I could be anything that I wanted.
Absolutely.
And so,
bro, you can't be a president, bro. You a cocksucker, bro. You a cocksucker. Trust me. That is it. I guarantee you a couple Democrats would vote for you. Undercover fish. You hear it? A couple Democrats will vote for you. So you will have the first gay president for the United States. Damn. You delusional. You crazy delusional. You crazy. And all these white, you talk about having problem. Your husband will be the first husband of the USA, right? Oh, you be crazy, bruh. You crazy as a mother hell, man. Go run for president for hell, bruh.
if Donald Trump could be president, why can't I be president? So I might do it. Who knows?
I think that I would love to see Don Lemon in a debate. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Sherry, I'd love to see him in a debate too. I really would, but probably for entirely different reasons to you. Now, the media continue to disgrace themselves with activism that is becoming increasingly dumb. No other word for it, it's dumb. And sadly, we are seeing it not just from the usual suspects, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, you know, the echo chamber. Here we have the Wall Street Journal, a reporter from the Wall Street Journal treating what was a clear joke seriously. So serious that she followed it up in the White House press briefing.
There was an interview that Dr. Mehmet Oz did recently where he described the president's views on his own diet. He said that he argued that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. And if you pour it onto the grass, the grass is killed and it therefore must kill cancer cells. I'm wondering if was this sort of an accurate description of how the president's views?
Look, as we all know in this room, I think you know the president has a very good sense of humor. It's one of his most underreported characteristics, I would say. I have heard him tell this joke before. I think the Wall Street Journal should get a better sense of humor.
I mean, what can you say? A serious question about an obvious joke, trying to suggest that the president thinks that drinking Diet Coke stops cancer. It's almost as good as that drinking bleach hoax. Remember that? Now, let's have a look at the interview that the journalist there refers to and see if perhaps there's a reason she took the banter seriously. This is what she was talking about. This is Dr. Oz on Donald Trump Jr.'s podcast, Triggered.
Your dad argues that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. It's poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body. So he'll try to, please. He's got a Fanta on the desk, and I say, are you kidding me? So he starts to like sheepishly grin. He goes, you know, this stuff's good for me. It kills cancer cells. And then he tells me it's fresh squeezed. So how bad could it be for you?
You know what? Can't wait for the next serious journalist to ask whether it's accurate that President Trump believes Fanta is freshly squeezed juice. I mean, really. Joining me now is Newsweek senior editor-at-large Josh Hammer. Josh, the American media, they have not exactly covered themselves in glory in recent weeks, particularly in their coverage of the war against the Iranian regime.
Well, Rita, that exchange that we just saw there between Donald Trump Jr. and Dr. Mehmet Oz is actually really, really funny. I'm not sure if the audience here heard. I was actually audibly laughing to myself during that exchange. Frankly, it gets to one of Donald Trump's, as Karen Levin accurately said, it's one of his unsung but nonetheless simultaneously most important political attributes. In fact, if you were to ask me what are some of the leading traits that have really led Donald Trump to be not just a great American president, but a man who I think will be ultimately remembered as one of the 5 to 10 most transformative American presidents of all time, I think his sense of humor is just about at the top of the list. Other things that come to mind are his unique ability to make his political opponents lose their everlasting minds, which he has a skill of, on that front probably more than any other American leader of my lifetime. He has an instinctive knack for, let's call it, the art of the 80-20 issue to make his political opponents defend the utterly indefensible. But really, more than anything else, honestly, his sense of humor is something that just resonates. This is who he is. He is the Fifth Avenue populist. He is the guy who is making every man Joe six-pack out there in flyover country in Kansas and Oklahoma, etc. He's making that guy laugh, and that is a huge reason for his political success. Obviously, the American media does not share in that sense of humor because they are just a bunch of smarmy, insular idiots. You said dumb, and yes, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's low IQ, it's just utterly gibberish. And it's sad that the Wall Street Journal is getting in on the act. Their editorial board is oftentimes quite sensible. I don't agree with them on everything, but they're oftentimes quite sensible. Unfortunately, the Wall Street Journal's news section is essentially indistinguishable in large part from the news section of any other generic left-of-center newspaper, the New York Times and so forth there. So it's unfortunate that is the case, but Carolyn Levitt handling with aplomb as she has handled many of these situations with aplomb.
Now, earlier today, the Senate defeated another war powers resolution aimed at limiting President Trump's ability to use further military force in Iran against Iran. This is the 4th time, Josh, the Democrats have forced a vote on this issue. This time it was defeated 47 to 52 votes, but they are vowing to try again, Josh.
So these war powers resolutions, Rita, come up every time a president of either party engages in some sort of offensive military hostilities. One thing that comes immediately to mind here is that these war powers resolutions are here, there, and everywhere actually unconstitutional. So the War Powers Resolution originated during the Richard Nixon presidency towards the end of the Vietnam War. Congress is trying to end Richard Nixon's his continuation of the war effort. The war effort obviously had been going on for a long time prior to that under LBJ Kennedy there. But the key thing here, Rita, is that Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution makes the president the commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief clause has as the ability in it the ability to wage war. Congress has an important check on the president and his war-making ability. It's called the power of the purse. Congress can defund the president anytime he wants to there. Congress does not have the ability to say, you, president, must wind down your initiation of hostilities there. They can't say that. They can defund the thing. They control the power of the purse, but you can't just say that, oh, after 50, 60 days, this has to end there. So the whole thing is just a totally unconstitutional ruse, and nonetheless, it's failed again there. So it's not just unconstitutional. It's also just failure theater. It's frankly, it's failure theater from Chuck Schumer and all the rest of the utterly hapless Senate Democrats. So they look utterly stupid. They're trying to pass an unconstitutional measure, and they can't even get that right there. Ultimately, this conflict is obviously going to end. Donald Trump is telling Maria Bartiromo it might actually end sooner rather than later. I'm a little skeptical of that, to be honest with you. There was simultaneously a Washington Post report indicating that upwards of possibly 10,000 additional troops might be heading towards the Middle East there. That doesn't really sound like it winding down, frankly, to my ears. So as usual with Trump, there is a lot of mixed information, which is kind of the entire method that he deploys there. There's very much a method to the madness here. And he's really just trying to throw the opposition off guard, which he's done time and time again. That's the reason that he was able to take out Ali Khamenei in the first place, is that the Iranians were totally off guard. I personally predict, Rita, that they'll be caught off guard again and that Operation Epic Fury is going to resume sooner rather than later. But of course, we shall see. One thing that we can definitely say is that the Senate Democrats are not going to be able to forcibly wind down this war effort with their hapless, feckless, toothless, and utterly unconstitutional, stupid, dumb war powers resolution.
Now let's talk about the Eric Swalwell scandal. It was revealed that his tawdry antics were a well-known secret, open secret among Democrat ranks. And there are a number of Democrat politicians now desperately trying to distance themselves from this saga, claiming they had no idea about Swalwell and all these allegations. And among them is a Californian Congressman, Ted Lieu.
I had no idea until I read the San Francisco Chronicle article when it was published. And I believe Representative Swalwell did the right thing by resigning.
Josh, are you buying that?
No, I definitely do not. In fact, Nancy Pelosi, who's kind of the queen doyen of the San Francisco Democratic establishment, she was asked the exact same question this past weekend on C-SPAN here in the U.S. there, and she gave the same answer. Nope, never heard of that. Nancy Pelosi is actually infamous in American political circles for having a literal binder full of opposition research on her political opponents. I guarantee you that Nancy Pelosi, Ted Lieu, all these guys, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Eric Swalwell is from that same Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area, broader milieu. All of them. Nancy Pelosi, Newsom, Kamala Harris, Ro Khanna. I guarantee you they all knew about this. By the way, I came across a very interesting article. I was doing a little bit of research, actually, about the extent to which the media was complicit in the Eric Swalwell cover-up. The short answer is that they were deeply complicit. I came across a fascinating article from CNN over at CNN.com back in November 2017. The date here is relevant because this is around the time of the explosive Harvey Weinstein story and just kind of the general apex, the crescendo of the Me Too movement here in the United States. So in November 2017, buried roughly 9 to 10 paragraphs deep into the CNN.com article, CNN makes reference to how over a dozen sources confided to CNN about a certain California congressman who was infamous for sexually harassing his colleagues. So they knew. Oh, yeah, they definitely knew there. And they were all complicit, Rita. They were all complicit. The media, the California Democrat establishment. So the obvious question then arises, why now? Why finally now that all these women are coming forward to tell their story? To me, the answer is actually quite obvious. So the California gubernatorial primary is coming up on June 2nd. California has this somewhat unique system that they refer to as a so-called jungle primary, which means that both the Democrats and the Republicans essentially all compete. And the top 2 vote getters, no matter what their partisan stripe, then go at it head-to-head, mano-a-mano this November. Well, if you look at the polls, actually, in a lot of these polls, the top 2 polling candidates, shockingly, have actually been the 2 Republicans. That's been Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco. So Democrats, I think, are getting quite scared, frankly, in the lead up to this primary. Eric Swalwell was, in many polls, most polls, probably the leading Democratic figure there. They want to take him out. They want to take him out there for the most cynical, self-serving reasons imaginable, which is to keep the Sacramento governor's mansion in blue hands to further corrupt the most beautiful physical state in the union. It's politics at its absolute worst. But frankly, Rita, it couldn't happen to a deeper scumbag, because Eric Swalwell is nothing if not a scumbag. The whole Fang scandal there. This guy should have been out of Congress years ago. So frankly, his comeuppance is, if anything, long overdue.
I said precisely the same thing yesterday. This looks like a hit job from the inside. The Democrats decided it was time. He was becoming a liability rather than an asset. And now they shore up their vote in the governor's.
My people, subscribe to the channel and like the channel. Sometime I take in Sky Australia News, because I mean, them can listen. They can listen. Understand me? And can listen. There's a whole lot of important points to be taken note of. Understand me? Especially as we start out with the stupidness. You see me? The rain syndrome. You understand me? Whatever Trump doing for America is making America great for the next 20 years, 30 years. Democrat don't have a plan. Democrat is the people Democrat is the party that tell you about no king, but yet they push anyone on us. They be pushing, not elected, They be pushing our nominees on us. Oh yeah, take that. That's what you want. Democrats are the ones that, if they can't win an argument, they get physical. They spread the most propagandas. I mean, some guy was telling me this morning that my president got 30-something felony charges and he's a raper. And I mean, this guy is about 50 years old, bruh. Say he's educated. This guy feel he's educated. This guy feel he's educated. I don't know why. Don't know if where he live, his zip code, Don't know what happened to feel. I don't know. I don't know his level make him feel like he's above the norm, and that's how Democrat is. You understand me? We over here, I mean, now Republicans, I don't know about like 2 voting seasons ago. Now Republicans, America, man, we just want to live. We just want to be good. We just want to enjoy life. We just want to see security for the country. We just want man out of women's sports. We want our kids to be growing up and be fair growing up. I mean, choose their own identity at any time they want. I mean, they'll force it on them. I don't want to see my kids reading LGBT books. I don't want my kids learning about no LGBT books. I don't want my kids. It's fair. This is what I want. I don't want nothing to threaten my kids in the future. But like when they're 30, they have to be scrambling because a country had nuclear weapon just because they want to have us on the heel because no, I don't want that. You understand me? So I choose to do it right now, clean it up right now. And I mean, my president might be making mistake, but I don't point it out like that. I don't go ahead and just curse and thing because there's a lot of things other president was doing. I mean, everything my president done, other president done. Everything that my president, nobody talk about the fact that to say that my president is even not getting even paid. And oh, he's making everybody rich, you know, because you're 50, about 52 years old. You didn't know Obama come out of office richer than he went in. You didn't know Kamala Harris came out of office richer than she went in. You know Biden and his family came out of office richer than they went in. But you want to watch Trump and what he's doing, bro? Crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's get into another program where we can have some highlights right here and see if we can enjoy a little bit of fun right here. You understand? We see right here we can enjoy something right here. So you understand? See if we can listen to this lady talk her bullshit. Listen. All right, my good here.
I want my wife to assume the dangerous position that I just occupied.
God forbid if something happens to you, like what would happen next to Turning Point? And he had made mention at the end, like, you know, Erica will do a great job running it.
I cannot stress this enough. The donors who were in attendance in Aspen are telling me that Charlie never said this. Charlie never uttered those words. They were shocked to hear it.
Strangely, no one knows who these imaginary donors are except
What do you hear about this? What do
It's
you
very
hear?
strange that he would say, appoint my wife. Like, why would you have to make an appointment there? You just discuss it. Even if you were going to say, you'd be like, you know, I think that this person will figure it out, whatever. But I appoint is so formal. So I just was like, I'm going to look into that. And despite telling us all about how they had caught this amazing moment on video, didn't pass the sniff test for obvious reasons. Okay, number one, no husband ever, no man ever would say, if I am killed on the job, I want my wife to assume the dangerous position that I just occupied.
God forbid if something happens to you, like what would happen next to Turning Point? And he had made mention at the end, like, you know, Erica will do a great job running it.
I cannot stress this enough. The donors who were in attendance in Aspen are telling me that Charlie never said this.
Please leave the man wife alone. Just stop. Please, okay? Candice, it's too much. You'll be looking crazy now, bruh. Nobody is on your white husband. Nobody even know him. Guarantee he's crazy now. Stop, please. Unless you need to do a DNA on one of your kids or probably keep some of your kids, because this is really, it's annoying. It's irrelevant. It's let the dead rest. Come on, man.
Kash Patel was right about this. Check this out.
I will work on the audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to borrow your terminology and call bullshit on your entire career in Congress.
I'm reclaiming my time,
It's been a disgrace to the American people.
I'm reclaiming my time.
You can reclaim your time all you want.
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak this way? Mr. Chairman, would you
accuse yourself?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you admonish the witness not to insult
the politics in the court? The politics, the type of politician we have right now is just
We believe that
embarrassing.
70% of the creation will actually be burning in a fiery pit of hell once they die.
I believe that anyone that doesn't accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior will be in hell.
So 70% of God's creation.
You don't intimidate me by saying a number. It's not relevant
it's not
to
about
the
intimidation,
fact.
it's
Yeah, it
fact.
doesn't. But it's not relevant. Like if I say 90% or 80%, that's kind of like an appeal to my emotions to try to get me to change my position on truth. The truth is that any person that does not receive Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, because he owns heaven, and so it's its home, and if you want to get inside his house, you have to have a relationship with him. And if you do not have a relationship with him, then he's going to give you what you want at the end of your life, which is, I want to be separate from you. He's a gentleman, and he's going to say, you know what, fine, you will be separated from me. That's not his desire. That's not my desire, but that is going to be the outcome. So the numbers are extremely irrelevant. They're an appeal to my emotions or to people's
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, so people. Yes, second, I don't know. I run the program in the morning, yeah, morning show, you see me? So I could get over about this now. Come back over yesterday now with this. I invite, I guess. So, no. All right, now go back right this. Listen. Cool. All right, this now. I'm going back in a stream yard, streaming here now again. Then I'm back this now. Get back this now. I could see some of the worst things them now. Listen, we're going back in a common sense this morning. As we tell you, we're upon common sense. Okay, so just give me a listen. Probably run through about 10 minutes of this, and then we'll probably sign off because we have things to do. You understand me? But we are run through common sense. Common sense. Show you the Democrats have no damn sense. CNN should be off the grid. Trust me. Just common sense. Trust me. Listen.
On a lot of stuff, but the fact of the matter is, you probably were born around the same time as 9/11 as I was. Our entire lives, most of our lives, our country has been at wars in the Middle East that have gotten us nowhere but more in debt. And if young Americans continue to feel left behind more and more because we were dragged into a war that we didn't need to have to be in the first place, and anybody with an elementary school understanding of foreign policy could have told you the Strait of Hormuz was going to get shut down, and that is exactly
And who controls it right now? Who controls the
why are gas prices so high then?
Why were they high during Biden's administration? Did you like that?
It wasn't because of a because of a geopolitical
Here's the deal.
fumble.
Who controls the Strait? You're using last week's talking points, David. We control the Strait. We are in charge of this conflict right now.
Biden and Donald Trump is he helped them end forever wars, and it wasn't popular, but he did it.
It went
Guess
great.
what?
It
We
went
just
great.
got into another one,
It went
and
great.
it's going a hell of a lot worse.
What do you mean? We're in control of the Strait, are we not? Iran is on its knees right
So
now. They're losing hundreds of millions of dollars a day, and they will not have
democratize tomorrow. This country that is going.
No,
that is being
that is literally.
We just need it to be something we can
Scott,
deal with.
They don't need a nuclear weapon.
Name me one time that a country has been successfully, through an aerial campaign, bombed into a democratic transition.
I'm not interested in the
Because
transition.
it hasn't happened.
I'm interested
Because you
in
don't
whether they have a
focus on
nuclear
the facts,
war
on the history.
or nuclear weapon.
Abby, this is a country that's entire history has been defined by foreign outside people and other groups, especially from the West, coming in and enforcing regime change. As terrible as the regime is,
they've been the same
this is
regime for
not
50 years.
And you know why we got to this place? It's because of a CIA-backed coup in the first place.
Because of Biden capitulation.
Boy. So we got to talk about this fascinating exchange on CNN featuring Scott Jennings, who is the star of the show. He's back, okay, and he is setting liberals and Democrats straight on the reality of what's happening with the Trump administration and the negotiations that are currently happening with Iran, because all reports lead to the very likely possibility that we're going to get some good news here, hopefully over the next couple of weeks or so, about a deal, right? It seems as if the United States and Iran are very close to a deal being made.
And Nick, what do we know at this point? I think what we know is that 2 days to get talks going wherever they would be unrealistic from a logistical perspective, and that's what we hear from our sources. And I think from the other point of view, President Trump does seem to now have lent into Pakistan as being the venue, Islamabad here as being the venue if and when those talks happen. And that was sort of in question because yesterday there was sort of rumors floating around that J.D. Vance had traveled 17 hours to get to Pakistan. The Iranian delegation had traveled a couple of hours. That sort of was disadvantageous to the U.S. there. So there was talk about a middle ground, a middle location, possibly somewhere in Europe. So the president does seem to have settled it on Pakistan. And there does seem to be an element of willingness here. And I think it's fair to say behind the scenes, efforts still are underway. Talks are underway behind the scenes to try to bring the two sides together. J.D. Vance left saying he'd put the United States' best and final offer on the table. So the ball was in the Iranian court. And at the moment, we're not hearing the Iranians saying, we're not coming. I think what the sense that we're getting is, again, people are in discussion. They're preparing to come back, both sides. You know, there was that real sense at the weekend that they did come close, that there was a lot of understanding. The Iranian side criticized the U.S. side for moving the goalposts at the last minute. Things were agreed, and then at the last minute changes were made, and that's why things fell down. In fact, you know, talking to sources here, there was a real sense that in the early hours of the morning, on Sunday morning, there was almost a point where a signature was going to happen. That didn't happen. Precise reasons we don't know, but perhaps around the perceived moving of the goalposts. But J.D. Vance and his team have been very, very clear that it's their nuclear aspirations of Iran to have a weapon that the United States absolutely categorically wants to get very clear and wants steps to be taken that will make that impossible. What are those precise steps and what are the precise steps that the Iranians would agree to is unclear. That seems to be the stumbling point. That you know, you're talking here about the removal of that highly enriched uranium dust that's trapped under mountains. The talk is about, you know, the possibility of centrifuges or what they contain, and the ability and the commitment not to, not to make highly enriched uranium, which puts the pathway to a nuclear weapon so much closer. Becky?
Yeah, so you see how you heard that. There are obviously reasons to be optimistic. Okay, it seems as if they're making progress, and hopefully we can get a deal. At this point, we have a blockade going that is hurting their economy, which is applying pressure on them. Okay, we have a 40-nation coalition that is forming to help secure the strait, to open up the strait, to guarantee freedom of navigation, even though we're already there and we're already seeing some activity of ships passing through the strait. But behind closed doors, Iran is also facing pressure from China. Publicly, China is supporting Iran diplomatically, right, by saying that their sovereignty must be protected, yada, yada, yada. But probably behind closed doors, they're saying the strait has to remain open. There has to be freedom of navigation. And the reason why they're saying this is because they know that Iran blocking the strait, or Iran not agreeing to a deal with the United States of America would risk Trump escalating and attacking or seizing their oil infrastructure, which would be a direct threat to China. It would be a devastating blow to China. So I guess what I'm saying is that all of the forces, right, all of the pressure is on Iran to make a deal. And it's not just coming from the United States. It's also coming from China as well, too. So you can see kind of where this is likely to go. Apparently, the biggest issue between both parties is Iran's nuclear program. Hopefully, they work something out, right? I think at this point, Iran is so weak that it just might not be worth it, right? They claim they don't want nuclear weapons. It's about time they show us, right? Like, just show us you don't want nuclear weapons, fold, and then you can have an economy, right? You can have a functioning and stable country, even if it's run by lunatics, right? If the lunatics don't have a nuke, I think we're good, right? So again, there are generally reasons to be positive. However, if you are a Democrat, they are wishing for a negative outcome. They are actively rooting against America because they hate Trump. A lot of people are rooting against a positive outcome because they also don't like Israel as well, too. And then they'll turn around and say, well, I'm America first, or that I love America. And it's like, well, clearly you hate Trump more than you love America. And you are anti-Trump first before you are America first, because I think at this point, we should all be hoping for a positive outcome, okay? And not hoping for a negative outcome or wishing for a negative outcome just because you hate Trump and you can stick it to Trump. However, that is what Democrats are doing, and they're getting called out for it on CNN. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
And I'm optimistic that during the summer we will see gas with a 3 in front of it sooner rather than later. It's Bank Week here in DC, so I've been meeting with a lot of my Middle Eastern counterparts, the finance ministers, and they all say that once the straits are open, they can start pumping again within 1 week.
Yeah, I'm optimistic that we're going to see a 2, right? We're going to see a 2 when you talk about gas prices, because once this conflict ends, I believe that the supply issue will be solved. And hopefully, again, gas prices will plummet. Now, will the media cover how fast gas prices drop when the conflict is over? Like they're covering gas prices right now. It's so funny to me. When gas prices were much higher than they are right now under Biden, the media didn't care, right? They said, go buy an electric vehicle. Democrats said, go buy an electric vehicle if you don't want to deal with high gas prices. This is what they said. Now, all of a sudden, you have a temporary spike due to a temporary conflict, and these people are losing their minds, right? They boo-hoo-whined and crying about the price of gas when they said nothing about it when it was elevated higher than it is now for most of Biden's presidency. It's funny how that works.
So he also just followed up and said somewhere between June 20th and September 20th. We're a month and a half into this already. So we're getting close to the 60-day piece that she's talking about. And that's not actually really that close to September. That's a lot of months that Americans are going to have to deal with these higher prices.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, this blockade, I think, was a stroke of genius by the president, number one. Number two, a lot of people are coming to the United States to get oil and gas right now, which is terrific for us here in our energy economy.
If you're an oil company,
it's terrific for our energy economy.
It doesn't make a difference
Americans who work for oil companies, Americans.
Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference if you're pumping gas at the gas.
And number three,
I love how these people are acting like nations coming to this country and getting gas from us increasing our oil production, our oil output does not create jobs, right? Yes, gas prices are temporarily elevated, but when you have these countries who are shifting their supply chains to the United States, some of it will be permanent, right? Because the diversification is important. They're going to realize, we should be diversified because anything can happen. That creates permanent jobs. Even when gas prices go back down, those jobs are going to stick because of the fact that we're going to be producing more oil permanently due to having more customers, right? So, that's kind of the genius in all this. It seems chaotic, but when you actually understand what's happening, you can understand how this benefits this country long term, right? Energy dominance, energy security benefits this country long term, and it gives us leverage over our enemies, okay? Trump is playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers, right? Or they thinking like we're playing checkers and we're not. We're playing chess. Okay, this is why we took out Venezuela. We have Venezuelan oil coming to the U.S. to be refined. That's also being put on the market. That's helping keep gas prices down, helping keep gas prices from being more elevated than they are right now. I talked about that yesterday. So, there's a plan here. And this is why I say once the conflict is over, we could see lower prices than we had going into the conflict, right?
Apparently, we're going to talk to these people again here. I think we've got them on their knees. They're losing hundreds of millions of dollars a day.
Is that where we're sending thousands of troops right now?
Yeah, because we're letting them know. We're letting them know.
Scott,
time is up. Time is up.
Scott, we are sending thousands of troops to Iran. That is not with them on their knees.
They're not going to Iran. They're going to the region.
Well, we're sending them to the region. That's either way. That's still not how.
The blockade has they are economically paralyzed because of us.
Scott. Let me ask you this question. Do you really believe that oil companies are just going to be like, you know what? Now that this crisis is over, we're going to lower our prices and ensure that our profits decline significantly? I don't think that
you're saying that the oil markets will cease to function as a market because they just decide it's not a market anymore. It's a market now.
When they're in a cartel together, it's
a market now.
Have prices be higher.
This guy is such an idiot. Like, this dude went to Harvard and he doesn't know a damn thing about how markets work, right? He's just repeating progressive talking points they hear it on some progressive YouTube show like Kyle Kalinske, right? He doesn't know what he's talking about. If what he says is true, then how in the world did gas prices go down after being elevated under Biden, right? If U.S. oil companies are in a cartel and they control the price of gas and they have full control over the market, why did the price of gas go down after Biden got out of office, right? Why did that happen? Why did the price of oil go down after Biden got out of office? Why did that happen? I'm just saying. This kid doesn't know anything, but yet CNN has him on air spewing nonsensical talking points, right? This is just nonsense. And see, here's the thing. When Republicans say something that Abby Phillips feels is nonsensical, she'll correct it. She'll jump in. When a liberal says something that's completely nonsensical, she ain't got nothing to say, right? When she really should be saying, no. Oil is a market, right? Gas prices generally are determined by market forces. Okay. You do not have a cartel of oil companies, U.S. oil companies controlling the global price of oil, right? Is for the most part supply and demand. But again, this guy doesn't understand that. I don't understand why they have people like this on the show. This guy having some influence within the Democrat Party is also part of the reason why the Democrats are down bad. Okay. They're really down bad.
Will be temporary.
Yes.
And as Scott has pointed out, the Strait of Hormuz is the only leverage that the Iranian regime, or rather the remnants of it, what's surviving, because we decimated most of their leadership, most of their military capacity. They are very much in a vulnerable position. But that was the last piece of the chessboard, was the Strait of Hormuz. Trump went in there and called their bluff and said, we're going to put down a blockade so that nothing can transfer oil from any Iranian port.
The president says the war is almost over, but yet he's sending 10,000 troops to the region. Negotiations failed. We don't know if they will start up again.
I mean, it has been widely reported that the negotiations are currently happening. What is she talking about? Again, CNN, you're platforming people who are not up to date on the news, right? Clearly, the negotiations are still happening. But again, for her, the negotiations failed. No, the negotiations didn't fail. The negotiations are still happening, right? If the negotiations failed, we will be attacking them, or Iran will be attacking us. We will be fighting. We're not fighting. That should tell you everything you need to know about how the negotiations went. They went well, because if they didn't go well, again, we will be fighting. But we're not fighting. We're just putting more pressure on Iran to come to a deal. That's why we have troops in the region. That's why we're moving more troops. We're letting them know that, hey, if you don't want to come to a deal, this is the next step, right? The next step is Karg, right? The next step is going in and taking the uranium ourselves. We're going to get it, right? It's just about how. Are you going to give it to us, or are we going to have to take it? That's what it's about. These people clearly don't understand a damn thing. They don't know how anything works, because their whole worldview is anti-Trump. They just go on television and say whatever that they feel makes Trump look bad. And at this point, it just sounds like they're rooting against this country. They're rooting against our leadership. It's sick, to be honest with you.
There's a blockade, yes, and it's effective, but it's not benefiting the United States in terms of access, or any of our allies around the world.
If they succumb,
so where is the victory there, and how can this?
Can I ask you a question? Do you want us to win? Do you want us to defeat these people?
I always want the U.S. to win.
Because it sounds to me like you are cheering for a bad outcome.
Could you define what win
right?
looks like?
Because all you can seem to do is define negativity.
What win looks
Here's
like.
Here's what win looks like. These fanatics don't get a nuclear weapon. Period. Full stop. That's a win.
Exactly.
American people deserve to know why our troops are there. What is it exactly that we're fighting for?
We're going to stop them from getting
the straits were
a nuclear weapon.
The war.
It has nothing to do with the strait. It's a nuclear weapon.
That has always been our mission. But there was no imminent threat.
Sure there was.
There was no imminent threat.
Val, they have missiles that can reach most of Europe. Do you not consider that to be an imminent threat?
There was no imminent threat to the United States.
We don't have bases and troops in Europe and all over the region.
Margaret,
you seem to be ill-informed about who's at war with whom here.
Yeah, all the countries that we bombed in the Middle East under Obama were not an imminent threat to the United States either, but we still did it, right? Again, it's amazing how that works. These people had no problems with Obama and his military excursions, which he, did a lot of, right, while he was president. But now all of a sudden, they're upset with Trump, trying to force Iran into a nuclear deal. Again, we're going to see if it's successful, but clearly, these people, these Democrats are wishing for it to not be successful, right? It doesn't matter the outcome. It doesn't matter if Iran actually agrees to a deal. These people are going to spin it. They're going to find a way. I'm telling you right now, they're going to find a way to spin it and say, well, see, it's actually not a real win. Well, see, this is just like the Obama deal. I'm like, no. Iran is significantly weaker. So whatever deal we get is going to be better because they're in a weaker position. We can actually enforce the deal. The Obama deal, the weakness of the Obama deal was enforceability, right? We couldn't actually really enforce the deal. We cannot verify what we're supposed to be able to verify, right? They could delay. Also, on top of that, it was temporary. It was not permanent. It did not include some of their proxies, right? There are things about the deal that were very bad, that were weak. And because Iran is in a weaker position now, it is likely that we're going to get a stronger deal than the Obama deal, right? We're going to get something more permanent, something that we can actually verify, right? And I think that's what's going to come out of this. Hopefully that's what comes out of this, but it doesn't matter because, again, they're going to spin it. The media's going to spin it no matter what as some type of loss. They're going to try to make it negative, even though clearly President Trump is about to get a W here. But again, this is how it is when you're actively anti-Trump, which at this point is being anti-America, right? They're rooting against this country on the international stage. It's kind of crazy.
Look, all I'm going to say is that we have, yes, it's an effective blockade, but it hasn't really been in place for that long. So it's fair to say, great, the first 4 days, 3 days of it, wonderful. But we have to see this long term. I also want to say that, we should never sort of underestimate our adversary here and the pain that they could still inflict. And one thing that I think we should take stock of is the rapidly depleting stockpiles of air defense systems of the Gulf states. So the Gulf states have access to PAC-3s. That's a Patriot missile air defense system, basically something fired in order to, deter the significant air threat, rockets, drones, other projectiles that Iran can still wield. Even if they're degraded, they still have that capability. The Gulf states have spent somewhere around 2,000 PAC-3s since the start of the war of February 28th, which may not sound like a big number. However, the annual production globally is 600. So there are, I think, real vulnerabilities in the region with countries that we should be allied with. And I think our own stockpile, for example, Tomahawk missiles are becoming depleted. And so the ceasefire is good. We should sit and take stock of where we are, but there is a serious long-term consequence in terms of defense production that I think we can't discount when we look at sort of the larger second and third order effects of this really discretionary war.
Yeah. Nobody knows what our stockpiles actually look like. Right? I don't believe anybody that goes on television and tells us how many missiles we got, what our ammunition look like, how many munitions do we currently have. They don't know, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But what I do know is that it seems as if we're headed towards a positive outcome, something that liberals really don't want, right? They boohoo, whine, and cry about gas prices, but yet they're rooting for an outcome that would keep gas prices elevated, right? It's funny how that works. It's almost as if they like it, right? They like gas prices being elevated because they can use it as a talking point against Trump, a talking point that they never used against Biden, by the way, right? When gas prices were high under Biden, go get an electric vehicle, right? When you have a temporary spike under Trump, despite before this, gas being lower under Trump than it ever was under Biden. Well, see, again, this is a huge problem. This is a huge issue. Trump is driving up costs for everybody. This is terrible, right? Again, it's just amazing how that works, right? It's absolutely amazing. So again, we're going to see what happens. I'm hoping for a positive outcome. And I really, really, really am annoyed by people who are actively rooting against this country's success because they hate Trump. But hey, this is the world that we live in. This is our modern day politics. This is our discourse. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
So frankly, we're stuffed, and we now depend on one thing really to get us out of this fuel crisis. We depend on the US to get oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has effectively blocked for more than a month with missiles and drones and possibly mines. Now, to do that, the US has got one of two ways, really, and is now urgently trying both. One is to make a peace deal with Iran, in which Iran agrees to go back to letting tankers pass, and not now, what it's doing now and what it's really excited by, charging them millions of dollars on the way through. The hardliners in Iran think this is a good one, we'll keep that. The other is for the US Navy to somehow make that strait safe from Iranian attacks so that tankers can go through. And here's what the US is doing about both those two things. As of Monday, last Monday, its Navy has imposed its own blockade of the Persian Gulf to stop any ship coming from an Iranian port, to stop the oil exports that Iran desperately needs with its economy now collapsing. The US even turned back a Chinese tanker.
Do not attempt to breach the blockade.
Oh, there's a reason about some things that are going on in the idea, yeah. Sky News, I want good news for really. They key their news them. You understand me? There's a review what some things are going on and lie them tell. At some little morning program, I'm kind of get sleepy now, so I'm going to sign out, come back later, forward back later with some other content. Just my cook thing get nice to me. Big up to my subscribers then. Like the video Center Road, you see me?
You know all of this pain, but you still make a game. Sick of mine.